Now we'll get on to our celebration. I've got some very special guests here from Hyundai Motor America. I want to recognize them to start with. They flew in. Some of them drove in on some rough weather to come to our grand opening. They're from Hyundai Motor America. Mr. Frank Kerr is the District Parts and Service Manager. Frank, wave your hand. Frank. He was here early this morning. We'll keep going. Hey, Frank. Frank, thank you. Mr. Larry Cottle, Market Representation Manager, back over here. Thank you, Larry. Mr. Rick Dorn, Regional Parts and Service Manager, South Central Region. I got a great tour with Rick this morning, and we had a great time in the body shop back there with the paint was. Thanks for taking the time. Robert Williams, did he come, Tom? Did Robert come? No, Robert didn't come. We got Mr. Tom Hedrick, South Central Region General Manager. And the gentleman who's been in front of the TV and doing all the interviews, came all the way from California to Daphne, Alabama, Mr. Dave Sikowski, Vice President, National Sales. I had a chance 2 weeks ago to Las Vegas to Hyundai's National Dealer Meeting. Me and Kimberly went. David and put on a fantastic show out there, and the theme of it was the next 25 years for Hyundai, because they've been in America for 25 years. And Hyundai has come a long way, but being at this meeting, you feel the excitement and the energy of Hyundai. Now these are dealers who normally, they're not Toyota, they're not Honda. They're now becoming a tier 1 dealer, but they introduced some outstanding product. They've got 4 cars that are going to get over 40 miles to the gallon, but just the overall feel out there where Hyundai is going, and they really get it in the manufacturing part. So it was exciting to be out there, to be a part of it. We're glad Dave made the trip from California to come out today. Thanks for coming. Okay, Tony told me to make this quick so I could give it to Sean. He can take over. So, and before we start, I want to give a round of applause to Miss Tony Fassbender, who organized this whole thing. Now, you know you're in trouble when you're with the National Vice President. Tony's coming in the service department. And there he goes. We've done something wrong. We need to be somewhere real quick. And this was not scripted, Tony, so no, it was not. She went over my stuff. So thank you for doing this. I want to take you back in time just a little bit. June of 2006, I get a phone call from a gentleman by the name of Mr. Sean Esfahani, and he goes, I heard you're a Toyota guy. Now, I was at a Hyundai store in Wilmington, North Carolina. How would you like to come back to Daphne and work at a Toyota store? Well, I just moved 6 months ago. But long story short, we met on Father's Day in Atlanta. I remember it. I went to the Atlanta Braves game. They were playing Boston, and we went Sunday afternoon, and there were more Boston fans in Atlanta than there were Atlanta Braves fans. So that's our passion of a baseball team, is absolutely with the Boston Red Sox. I met Sean, and he didn't want to know about my credentials. He wanted to know about my family. He said, when can you bring your family, and we can meet them? So long story short, we made an appointment the next Sunday, and he met the family, and I said, okay, we'll come. And by the way, when is this Toyota store going to be open? He said, 6 or 8 months. 6 or 8 months, you're going to build a building. Okay. 2 weeks later, he calls up. About a week later, I've just been awarded a Hyundai point. Can you be back in 2 weeks? I said, my life's getting ready to change. It went from 6 months having a job to, can you move your family, 5 animals, 850 miles, back, and by the way, we're going to open a store by the end of July. And by the way, we don't have a building. They say, well, there's a Buick store down on Highway 98 that's going out of business. We'll get that store and we'll move into Highway 98, and we can get all this done in about 2 weeks. I said, well, okay, that sounds good. Let me talk to Kimberly about that. She goes, we're moving where? I said, we're going back. The kids were happy, excited. My kids are here tonight, very excited to move back. So then I get an email that we're going to get 290 Hyundais. And 95 of them are Elantras, which we couldn't get them back then. All had sunroofs, and they were the most expensive ones that nobody at the port would take. And I tell Sean, we only have 120 parking places. We'll get 280 Hyundai. He said, we'll take them all. We'll sell them all. My life is getting ready to change again. In 3 or 4 days, 20 different transfer trucks show up and drop Hyundais off. We have 116 parking places, 280 cars. We found keys in cars months later in the glove box. We had cars in the woods, in the parking lot. So we opened up Hyundai of Daphne July 25th of 2006. First month in business, sold 88, I'm get the numbers right, 88 new Hyundais. Now when we opened up, the total units in operation of Hyundai were less than 400 Hyundai in Baldwin County. That's it. Less than 400 Hyundai, and they're sending us 280 that we need to sell. We'll sell them all. So that started an adventure of really bringing Hyundai's name to this Gulf Coast region. At the end of August, Sean came to me and said, really, what's important is we want to give back to the community. I said, okay, how are we going to do that? He said, we want to put together some fundraiser. I said, okay. He said, make some calls around and see which one of the best institutions around that we can do. We got in contact with the Mitchell Cancer Center, Abby. I believe Abby was the first time. Now this is September 18th. He said, well, we'll have a golf tournament the first week in October. And we'll sell it out. 18 days, all of our little employees, about 20 of us, went out and put brochures out, and we got 118 players to play in a golf tournament in 18 days and raised about $20,000, and it was the first annual Mitchell Cancer Golf Tournament. Miss Tony Fassbender started the day before and come into our world the day before a golf tournament. And since then, it's the 4th annual, and it's sold out every year. So I knew what was important to Mr. Espahani, and actually myself, is to give back to the community. So that started something other than selling cars. That's the reason I wanted to be a part of this organization. Then we went to what our goals were for this store, which is now Eastern Shore Hyundai. Well, it was very simple. We wanted to outsell Nissan. We did that in 2008, 2009. Then we said we want to outsell Honda. We've opened up for 3 months. Tamron Honda's doing a nice job. We should sell about 900 to 1,000 new Hyundais and be very close to what Honda's going to sell this year. And then our ultimate goal is to be at the Mitchell Cancer Center fundraiser. I'm talking to Sean. I said, Hyundai's going to outsell Toyota. Hyundai still is going to outsell Toyota. I didn't say when. Hyundai will do that. So right now, Spring Hill Toyota has 320 cars out here today, and we have 283. We're very close to outselling a Toyota store that's been in business 30 years. And where that comes from is relationships, hiring the right people, and as Sean says, giving every advantage you can have, having beautiful facilities like this, and hiring the best people. Our other goal, the way we rate success, is on customer satisfaction. And that's when a customer comes into our service department or our sales department and they say that they will come back again. Now the manufacturer has surveys that say that, but in the end, to us, it is we have a relationship with the customer. That's how you grow your business in tough times, during oil spills, tough economy. If customers come back, that's how you build relationships that last. The role in the community is one of the things that's very, very important to us. I mentioned the golf tournament. One of the most amazing things that we did was we did Christmas cards. We came up with 10 different automobiles and we got our employees involved in it, where we took cars and we went into the public and we wanted to find the neediest families that needed transportation. And we got the mechanics to service it, our vendors to put tires on it, and we read these letters in the showroom, in a meeting, and we picked out the 10 most needed families. When you go through a process like that, that's a very powerful thing to do when you give back. We did it at Christmas time last year, but the most important thing I saw is our fellow associates got involved in it, and they gave back. The mechanics fixed the cars, the salesmen helped out, and when these people came and picked up the cars to see the impact on their life, you can't buy that. That was amazing to be a part of that. So hopefully we'll continue that. We also do the high school game of the week, which is we get back to the high schools. We do it on Wednesday night. We go in and we have the game of the week. Well, the first year we did it, pretty good success. They picked the best game of the week, and we had about 200 or 300 high school kids come out, the cheerleaders come out, and we donated about $10,000 to whoever had the best team spirit. Well, we had a high school right next to us, Spanish Fort, that their game got canceled the first season. Well, we went in, and the next year they were the first game of the year. And I knew we were in trouble when the police department called and said, do you know what's getting ready to happen? If you have Spanish Fort and Fairhope in one building together before this big game. So really, the police chief called. They called up. Spanish Fort brought over 1,000 kids, cheerleaders, to Eastern Shore Toyota on the game one and swamped that dealership. And Fairhope brought about 40 people. And they had a lot of team spirit too. And one time we had to pull them apart. The coaches had to get in the middle on it to pull them apart. So we had 1,200 kids come to a dealership for the high school game of the week. Well, that set the tone, so it'll be our third year coming up. And by the way, it shuts down the business. You sell no cars during this particular time when you've got, let's see, about 100 high school kids come in between 16 and 17 years old. It gets a little noisy. Also, the Nissan store, headquartered Nissan opened up. They've been a part of the Toys for Tot, which is a neat program they do at Christmas time up there. In the end, we like to be a part of the community and give back. So that's the part. Now, the part is a surprise here. Glad all of you came to our grand opening. I want you to know what makes my world tick. I've been married 23 years, and I've got the most amazing wife in the world, my beautiful wife, Kimberly. Stuff I wrote down, I just can't say it. And also my son, Zach, and Emily. They keep me very, very entertained on it.